Hello, welcome to Murder Most Misfortune. This is a visual novel style game where you had to solve a murder. That's basically all I know about this game, so let's start a new story. Real-time mystery. When enabled, you had to solve the mystery within a limited time period. Clock will appear at the top right corner during the section where the time limit is counting down. For my first playthrough, I'm not going to put that in because I would get too stressed out. Okay, so yeah, usual stuff with visual novel stuff. Right click, or click on this to on the right to have the game proceed automatically. Press escape or that. Oh, and then yeah, use. So yeah, basic visual novel.
My dear Misfortune, I hope this letter finds you well. I did so enjoy our little discussion of the work of Guy de Mauvaisier the last time we met.
Oh, I wasn't expecting actual voice acting.
I would like to cordially invite you to an intimate gathering of mine on the evening of the 27th. We will be celebrating my recent acquisition of a rather unique historical property, and I think you are just the one to properly appreciate it. I look forward to your RSVP in the affirmative. Most sincerely yours, Prince Titanico.
It was at an art auction, I think, that I first met Prince Titanico. He seemed to think the world of himself.
All princes do.
I, quite frankly, thought him a bit of a bore. But if I only accepted social invitations from people I thoroughly approved, I wouldn't dine out very often.
It can never be too picky. I love her retired. Very pretty. Okay, we're at the manor grounds now.
I stepped onto the curb from my limo and laid eyes on the place for the first time.
Oh, you probably won't be looking around much in this rain.
Gothic gargoyles loomed ominously over the old house, and creeping vines wound their way up its walls, as though trying to strangle it. The prince had been right. It really was to my taste.
Good evening, ma'am. May I have your name?
Hi. Yeah. David looked like the bodyguard type.
Ugh, this hulking thug, on the other hand, not so much. Fortune. Misfortune.
I really hope you're not saying that first part out loud.
Is the miss a first name or a title, ma'am?
Oh, I like to leave that to the imagination.
I'm sure you're going to leave a lot to the imagination.
Now you must be the butler, so why don't you buttle on and show me inside? The evening is a bit damp, I dare say.
And we're definitely not taking him for a butler. It's one scary looking butler.
No, ma'am. I'm not a butler. Just a valet. My name is Klops.
God, that is an unfortunate name.
Oh my, what a terrible shame. Well, butler, or valet, you do open doors, don't you?
Honestly, it looks like he could pull the door off its hinges, so...
Yes, ma'am. Right this way.
And he looks like he's about to fucking punch me. Luckily, I am a woman. And right into the main hall.
From the cobwebs in the corners and the dust on the railings, it was obvious that the house had been abandoned for some time.
Yeah, don't fucking say. This place looks like a fucking mess.
Some high society guests might have been insulted to be invited to a venue in such ill repair, but it didn't bother me.
Of course it doesn't.
I realized that the house had been preserved as it was for the effect.
Or they just couldn't be bothered cleaning it up and fixing it up.
Misfortune has arrived.
Oh,
Miss
hi.
Fortune. Good evening. There are refreshments on the side table. Please do help yourself.
Man, you're quite the contrast to the butler.
Why, thank you. So, are you the butler? Or are you going to tell me you're just, I don't know, the concierge?
Yeah, just a court magician.
Butler? No, 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 no. I'm not a servant. I am a close friend and trusted advisor to our dear prince. The Grand Magus of his court, if you will. My name is Horatio.
Charmed, I'm sure.
My dear Misfortune,
hi.
how are you, darling? It's so good to see you again.
Man, you look way too fancy to be staying in this place.
Comtesse de Clecitra. Yes, it's been just ages, hasn't it?
God, that's definitely a mouthful of a name.
I should have known you'd be here. You're never one to miss an event on the social circuit.
I dare say I needed something to cheer me up after my late husband's funeral. And an evening like this is just the thing.
Honestly, she kind of reminds me of Rarity. Ooh, we get a choice. Let's do last we met.
Let me see. When exactly was it that we last saw each other? It must have been at the Emperor's ball.
Heavens, yes! Wasn't that quite the affair? Were you there when one of the waiters spilled a tray of champagne all over Duchess Reese's dress?
Oh, yes. That was positively scrumptious, wasn't it? I mean, a shame about the dress, of course. I heard she had it made just for the ball. Such a pity.
Well, given how many people come out nowadays, it was bound to happen to someone. I even heard the poor servant say he was sure he felt someone in the crowd give him a little shove. Can you imagine?
Surely not. These are high lords and ladies we're talking about. No doubt the man is just making excuses for his clumsiness.
I love how you're so over-exaggerated.
You're probably right. Just an unlucky accident, I'm sure.
Yeah, I get a suspicion that you guys were involved. Oh, okay, yeah, and about your husband.
Of course. I was so sorry to hear about your husband. This is your 4th time a widow, if I'm not mistaken.
Oof, she definitely has the unfortunate streak there.
Quite so. And for you, 9, I
Oh
believe.
god, it's even more unfortunate.
Ah, yes. They just keep dropping dead, the poor dears. It's so hard to find a good man with stamina these days.
Oh my, should I be worried? Perhaps you've been cursed.
Me? Cursed? Nonsense. I seem to be doing just fine. But maybe I am bad luck.
Ah, Misfortune.
Ooh,
Well,
hi there.
I'm so delighted that you could come. I trust Horatio has been keeping you entertained.
You're very mysterious indeed.
Oh, yes. La Comtesse and I were just scandalizing your court jester. Or was he a wizard? In any case, scandalizing him with our intimate marriage details.
Of course you were. So tell me, what do you think of the house?
It could be better.
I must admit, when I first came into this little period piece, I immediately thought of you.
What, because she's a complete mess?
It seems melancholy, mysterious, and maybe just a little macabre. So yes, I quite like it so far.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. I will take you on a more detailed tour shortly. But we are still waiting for more guests to arrive.
Oh, great.
And what timing! Here they are now.
What a pose.
Miss Charisse and Miss Leah have arrived, sir.
Oh, hi. Okay, you guys are very much different to the cast we've already met.
Is that the Charisse? The industrial heiress? The one who's been throwing all those charity balls ever since she came into her fortune?
The very same.
My beautiful Charisse, please come in. Without you, this place is dark and drab, but your radiance rekindles it anew.
Right, definitely the flirty type. Got
You're
it.
too kind.
Oh my! I had heard she was seeing someone, but I never imagined it was him.
So, how old are these ladies? I hope we'll find out soon. Otherwise, got some
Indeed.
questions to ask him.
This party just got a little more interesting.
Oh, it's about to get more interesting. I'm sure about it.
And this must be Leah, the girlhood friend of whom you speak so very highly.
Yeah, nice place you got here. If you like entertaining dead people.
About that.
Dead people? Yeah, I assure you, fair lady, you are perfectly safe here.
You spoke a little bit too soon about that, because, I mean, this game has the word murder in its title, so...
I think it was a critique of the decor, not of our safety.
Leah doesn't mean it. It's a lovely house. Really.
On the contrary, Miss Leah may be more right than she knows. Until recently, this mansion was the property of the Lee family. Perhaps you know of them.
Oh yes, who doesn't? A distinguished family of the nobility, with a respected pedigree and a long history of public service and political influence.
So, short version, some stuffy old rich people.
Almost all of the estates out here, away from the city, were owned by old families. But many have had to sell over the years. It must be a bit sad for them, leaving all that history behind.
Indeed, and especially so for the Lees. Theirs is a tale of tragedy, and it ends, as they so often do, in sorrow and blood.
That's not concerning at all. Oh. Nice timing there.
Come, the house itself will tell its share of the tale.
Okay, well, let's check out the history of this house before somebody gets murdered. That was an interesting, statue.
This is the smoking room. Did the Lee family use this as a quiet place to relax after their evening meals, I wonder? Or was this the proverbial smoke-filled room where secret deals would be struck and the fates of nations decided?
My attention was drawn to a curio cabinet on one side of the room. Some of the items within rather struck my fancy. This cabinet, are these items originals?
Kinda hoping not, especially with that, voodoo-like doll there.
I believe so. I have endeavored to change as little as possible about the house since acquiring it.
Oh, great. We might have some haunted items on us. Great.
The Lees were well known as eclectic collectors.
You don't say.
They also say that sorcery ran strongly in the Lee family, you know.
Great. As if we didn't have enough reason to think this place was owned by a bunch of creepers.
Come now. Surely a smart little girl like you doesn't put any stock in old superstitions.
Magic and superstitions, no. Weird and creepy people, on the other hand, are plenty real.
Fortunately, that is true.
No need to worry, young lady. You're among good company here.
Until somebody gets murdered.
We will have time to look around in greater detail later, I assure you. For the moment, follow me, if you would.
There's a lot of cobwebs in this one. Hopefully there's no giant spiders laying around.
They called this the king bedroom, home to the master of the house. Now, it is as you see it, empty and forlorn, as it waits for a new master to take the place of the old.
It feels so cold.
There's a ghost toilet
Lady,
in
I can
here.
call for Klops to bring you a sweater.
And while he's at it, perhaps also a textbook on metaphorical versus literal language.
You are so kind, but I'm fine. It's just the atmosphere of this place.
The Lees were among our most powerful families before the Imperial Revolution. But like most of the old guard at the time, they chose the losing side. In many ways, the family never recovered.
They certainly never recovered financially at the very least. Thus the sale of this very house.
It's almost as if old money runs out if you're not smart with it. Who'd have thought?
Quite so. But at least the house has gone to those who can appreciate its history.
Yeah, at least we hope so. Ooh, that painting is scratched out. So is that one. That's weird.
This is the Queen bedroom, and it has a fascinating story. It is said that the famous senator Lamika Lee herself met her end in this very room during the final days of the revolution.
Oh, this room is definitely haunted.
Yeah, I remember learning about that. She was one of the staunchest supporters of the Old Republic.
And she was killed here? In her own bedroom? That's so terrible.
By all accounts, she did not go down without a fight. Revolutionary soldiers had stormed the grounds, but none who came in here survived.
They even say that she sustained herself for days on the blood of the soldiers who kept coming for her.
Well, points for ingenuity. I'll grant her that.
But that was all a long time ago. There wouldn't still be any blood left here now, or anything.
Well, with how red the bed looks back there, it'd be hard to tell. I hope.
Really? With all the red, it's rather difficult to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Who knows how much of it might have soaked into the floor, the walls, the bed.
You are right, my darling Charisse. It is all long past. A good tale for a night of ghost stories, perhaps. But thankfully, these are happier times.
For now. I don't think anybody's going to be sleeping on that bed. It looks like it's falling apart. Again, lot of spider
And
webs.
here we have the dining hall. I see that Klops has left some tea and coffee on the table for us.
Hopefully the spiders haven't been gnawing on it already.
And orange juice too, I hope. I'm running rather low. All this dry air, you know?
I'll see to it, sir.
For me, just a spot of black coffee would be wonderful.
This concludes our formal tour of the estate, but our evening is far from over. Tonight, my friends, is more than just a housewarming party. Before the night is done, I have a very special announcement to make to you all.
Are you gonna murder somebody? Okay, never mind. I didn't say anything.
Oh, don't worry, my dear. You are safe with me.
You sure about that?
Thank you. I was just a bit startled.
Oh, heavens, yes. The light's going out. What horror! I dare say I may faint myself, delicate flower that I am.
Flower? A noxious weed, perhaps?
Please, Misfortune, allow me. I've got you now.
Of course, you're the one that steps in.
Oh, what would we do without you? On second thought, you can unhand me. I seem to be quite all right.
Good, good. Because there's nothing to be worried about. It's just a little blackout.
Would you be so good as to check the breaker then, my dear Horatio?
Yes, of course. My talents will shed some light on all of us in no time.
God, I hope not.
I absolutely adore these old homes, but they do so often have problems with the wiring, don't they?
Excuse me, boss. Sir, there's a telephone call for you.
Wait, how is the telephone working if the power's out?
A call for me? Here? How mysterious. You must excuse me, my dear guests.
That seems suspicious.
Clops will fetch some candles for you, so you can look around while Horatio works his magic on the lighting. I will return very shortly.
Great, we're now stuck in a dark room.
I wandered back to the king bedroom by myself to take a closer look at some of the decor.
Okay, well, okay, we can use our mouse. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now that it's showing my mouse, because I didn't realize it was going to be point and click. So, yeah, there's a portrait there, door. Oh, we can go further. God, oh, there's no one hiding back there. Oh god, this would make for a good fucking jump scare for moving around. Okay, let's look at the
The air in
drapes.
the old house was still and thick with dust. But even had there been a draft, I doubt the black drapes by the room's window would have stirred.
Yeah, they look like they're probably ready to fall apart.
Even I was surprised by how thick and heavy the material was. No sunlight would have pierced its way into this room against its occupants' wishes. That much was certain.
Okay, good.
The elaborate carvings on the wooden bedpost intrigued me. Spirits and demons of all sorts circled and surrounded any lord who might sleep in this bed. Was this preferable, I wondered, than sleeping in the arms of Lamika Lee, blood drinker as she was rumored to be? Looks like our court magician has managed to conjure back a little light for us after all.
Or do I get to look around the room some more? Okay, good, because I wasn't quite done looking. Okay, so at least we can get a better look at the room. Here's bookshelf. Yeah, looks like blood on there. That's not good. Okay, anything else? A chair. And nothing much else.
Just what kind of skeletons did the Lee family have locked away inside that conspicuous old chest?
Might need to find the key for
I
it.
must confess, I have a terrible weakness for things that are locked up to keep me out of them. Alas, it's my brother Sir Price who's rather handy with the lockpicks, not me.
Ah, damn. Okay, we'll make our way around.
For just the slightest of moments, I considered collapsing into the antique red chair in the room's corner. After all, we'd spent the evening on our feet, traipsing about the house for the prince's little ghost tour. Then I remembered that spiderwebs don't just come out of nowhere, and that upholstery is a prime place for the little nasties to hide. I would have to remember to warn our doe-eyed little angel about that as well. You know, in addition to the possible bloodstains and all.
Yeah, otherwise she's probably gonna be in for the bite of her life. Okay, I want to look at that painting last, because I don't like it.
Had these books on the shelf belonged to the Lee family as well? Curious, I skimmed a few of the titles. A History of the Republic, Genealogy of the Great Families, How to Train Killer Bats,
Huh, that's a
Genghis
weird book.
Khan and the 21 Balloons. All dreadfully dull classics, I'm sure.
Sure. Oh,
At
hi.
last I found you, Misfortune. You need to come right away. Please.
Whatever is the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost with that one eye of yours.
I think somebody's been murdered.
There's no time to waste, miss. You should see for yourself.
Okay, who's been the one that's been killed?
Gathering my skirts, I hurried after the hulking butler. Sorry, valet. Back to the hall where we had first arrived.
I never got to see it. Look at that painting.
From the urgency in his pace and in his voice, I knew that something had happened. But still...
Oh, he got killed. Well, there goes my number one suspect.
It was our host, Prince Titanico. He was dead. That alone wouldn't scare me. I was no stranger to dead bodies. But from the way he was lying, it was clear that his death was no accident.
Yeah, no shit.
He'd been murdered. And that meant that someone in the mansion was the murderer.
Well, for the moment, everybody is a suspect. My game's been saved, apparently.
I found the rest of the ladies. Now, Klops, what is this all about?
Yes, hi everybody. There's been a murder.
Body? Here! Oh, how positively horrid!
Yeah, I don't like your over-the-top acting. On suspicion number 1.
Ugh! Everyone, shield your eyes! This is not a sight for fair sensibilities.
The other guests stood in the doorway opposite myself and Klops. My eyes fell on our oh-so-sensitive ingenue, Charisse. If ever there was a time to faint for real, this was it. But she didn't. She just stared into the room, her eyes wide, glassy, and unblinking.
Okay, not creepy at all.
Somebody needs to call the police!
Yes, ma'am. Right away.
It'll take them a while. We're ways out of the city.
We shouldn't touch anything. Let's all go back to the dining room and wait for the police to arrive.
No.
What?
We can't just sit and wait. We need to investigate. We need to see the truth with our own eyes.
Of course we do.
I'm with you on that, Sherry.
Well, if our precocious little darlings are going to be poking about, I'm certainly not going to be left out.
If you insist, then.
My dears, please do be very careful.
We won't disturb anything, Comtessa. I promise.
That is not what I meant. It could be that whoever did this has not gone far.
Or it could be in this very group. I also love that they put the echo on the voices as well, with being in a large room like this. Kind of adds a cool effect.
Oh. Surely it was just some villain who has since fled the scene.
I'll keep an eye out, sir. Just nobody wander
Yeah,
far.
eye out.
You understand?
Perhaps it would have been more comforting to believe the culprit was some stranger, a shadow in the night that was now long gone. But it just wouldn't have fit the evening's theme, now would it? I had a hunch that there was something more afoot in the old manor that night, and I certainly wasn't going to trust anyone else to properly figure it out.